It is Saturday night again. This is the Saturday night mouse party, and we'll see if anybody shows up because I scheduled it incorrectly to start with. Um, I had forgotten to schedule it, and about an hour ago, Mr. Pat Hirsch called me and asked me, "Are you doing a chat?" And I looked at the clock, saw it was 10 o'clock, and it took me a second to figure out if that was 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. And then I realized it was 10 p.m. Yeah, I said, "Yep, I'll get up and get it scheduled." And I sent you a link, Pat. So hopefully you got it. But we'll see if anybody shows up. So far, Gary has showed up. How you doing, Gary?
No, I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Still a little groggy. After work, after I got off work this morning, I went to the range with a friend I hadn't seen in probably 10 years at least. And it's somebody I've known since junior high, since seventh grade. So, uh, 35 years or more. And then we might have met up with another friend who I have known since about the seventh grade also. We went out. Well, the one friend I took to the range, so I'll have a take a friend to the range video coming out with him. And then we met up with our other friend, had lunch, uh, got to chat for a while, and then went to bed probably about 3:30. Slept through my alarm, but I'm up now. I'm here, raring to go. Uh, there's a link at the top of the chat for this week's poll, and we'll look at that here in just a little bit about Christmas lights. And let's take a peek, see who was out here so far. Sergeant Joe Smith was first. Pat in the bunker. So let's see if Pat got the link. Let me know, Pat, if you got it or not. And Lakeview Outdoors. Good evening. Bubba Triclops Ballistics. And so far, that's everybody that said something. I'm still a little brain foggy. X Adam One's here. He said Hillbilly Up reminded him. So, what's new with you, Gary?
Well, I am at my daughter's. We went out for lunch today. I'm spending the night, obviously. And then we're actually having our Christmas a day early. So we're going to get up and cook our big meal and have that for lunch tomorrow. And then I am heading home sometime in the afternoon before it gets dark. And then Monday morning, doing a I'm doing an early bird chat on Christmas morning for the first time ever. So it should be kind of interesting. So a little bit of everything going on.
Well, that sounds good. Yeah, it'll just be my wife and kids for us. The couple of sisters that I used to get together with for Christmas both have moved away, so which is all right. It's
It's
usually Thanksgiving would be just my wife and kids, and then Christmas we'd get together with more. But I think my wife gets a little tired out by my side of the family, so I don't think she minds a quiet Christmas at home. It's not, it's not that she doesn't like them. It's just the pressure of my side of the family.
Well, I don't mind a little bit of peace and quiet, but when you live by yourself with a cat, Christmas, if you don't do something special on Christmas, then it just turns into every, just like any other day. And this year, it seems like it's more Christmassy. I've gotten more Christmas cards this year than I have in several years. And, all the special shows and everything going on, it's just been kind of nice. It actually feels like the season, even though we don't have any snow.
Yeah, we did. I don't know if we got more Christmas cards, but we got different cards from different people this year. A few more YouTube side people, which was really nice. But then, I feel bad because I didn't send them one. But for if you sent me one and I didn't send you one back, I do appreciate. This is for anybody out there. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Vulcan Rumbles out there. Checking in, let me know everything's working. And Garage Guy, good evening. Sergeant Joe Smith says, shout out to Krabby Turtle. He wanted to be here, but Maryland time. He's snoring now. Oh, I understand. G-Webs, how you doing?
Not bad. Almost left through the show.
Me too. Pat Hirsch called me an hour ago and asked me if I was doing a chat. I had forgot to schedule it and all that. So
thanks for hosting, though.
Well, it's I enjoy doing these. So, I like it. It's fun hanging out with you guys and talking about whatever we talk about. It's my social interaction for the week. Hillbillies up is out there. Good evening. But had fun at the range. My buddy got to shoot stuff that he hadn't shot before, so he had fun. And it was busy. I was hoping maybe everybody would be doing Christmas stuff, so it wouldn't be busy, but it was packed when we got there. So. But luckily we didn't have to wait very long. So. And I ran into someone else that I knew came in while we were getting ready to leave. So it was a good day. Had a nice lunch with another friend. Kind of got caught up of what's been going on over the years. DJ Play Nice is out there. Good evening. So let's take a quick look at this week's poll. If you haven't voted in the poll, there's a link pinned at the top of the chat. Let me get the right one open. I think that's the right one. It was, do you put Christmas lights on your house? And the choices are, I put lights in my apartment window. I outline the house with lights. My place looks like Vegas. They are still up from last year, so I guess so. And I have erased the darkness with Christmas light. None shall sleep. And 39% said I outline the house with lights, that's the one I figured most people would do. Number 2 said I have erased the darkness. And then there's a tie for my place looks like Las Vegas, and I put lights in my apartment window. It's probably one vote for they're still up from last year. And looking at the comments, Chasing Ghosts, Tara said, no lights, just a tree. We have an empty nest. Boys are growing up and have moved away, so we really don't know what to do anymore. And I don't have lights up. I think about it every year and never put up lights. Tim Allen, I live alone with my dog in the country. Don't even bother putting a tree up. DJ Play Nice, hashtag bright light, light bright, light tight and out of sight. Sergeant Joe Smith, I don't, but people pay me $60 an hour to put them on their house. Yeah, there's services you can, some places, I know around Seattle, where you can basically rent the lights and the company will come out, put lights on your house for you. And then after Christmas, they'll take them down.
That's the way to do it. There should be more people doing that. That should be like a thing.
X Adam 1, no lights besides the porch light outside my place. New York Outcast, kitchen, living room, hallway, and office all have Christmas lights, none outside. Wood said, bah humbug. Tactical Maverick, one day I will shame Clark Griswold. In yesterday's pomade, we put up a menorah. So thank you to everybody that's voted in the poll. And there was an option when I first was filling them out for I don't put up lights. And then I forget why I changed it. Oh, I think because I put in the for people in apartments. And then I forgot to put it back in the poll. So that's why there was no I don't put up lights. Ken Thompson's asking a question out there. Anyone have a Henry H1 or Heritage Rough Rider 22? I don't. Do you guys have a Rough Rider?
Yeah, I have a Rough Rider and I have the Barkeep.
I've looked at them and thought about it, but I don't really enjoy 22 pistols. So I've never bought one.
Man, that's un-American.
I've got my Marlin 60, my 22 rifle, which I love that rifle.
Oh, okay.
I just don't enjoy shooting 22. It doesn't do it for me. But that Marlin 60, I love that rifle for some reason. I don't know. That's the if the society crashes, I can hunt squirrels. That's what that gun is for. Ken's also asking, how do you like them? How do you like your Rough Rider, Gary?
Oh, I like it a lot, but I like shooting 22. Not that I don't like shooting other things, but I mean, it's something you can shoot a lot of and not have to spend a lot of money. So, kind of makes you feel like a kid when you shoot it. So, I enjoy a good 22.
And I understand that, and that that makes absolute sense. But when I shoot, I like the feel, big recoil and lots of noise. I need that big impulse. That 22 just doesn't do it for me. X Adam 1 said he said yeah and yes. I think he has both. And Hillbilly Up said he's got a Rough Rider. DJ Play Nice has a load of Ring of Fire 22s. AAF, American Ammo and Firearms, is out there. Good evening. X-Atom, it's fun. Put Loctite on the screw for the ejector. It will fall out. Vulcan Rumble said no lights, no Christmas lights for him. So well, Gary said what his plans are for this Christmas. G-Webs, are you getting together with your family, or are you gonna hang with the dogs for Christmas?
Yeah, I don't do anything.
Yeah.
Nice having a day off, I guess.
I bought my wife a vacuum cleaner for Christmas, because what woman wouldn't want a vacuum cleaner for Christmas?
And you're still alive?
Well, it's one that she's wanted for a while, a stick vac for upstairs, so she doesn't have to drag the big vacuum. The
upright? The upright?
Well, we've got one of the, it's not an upright, it's one of the caster. God, I can't even think of the name for them.
Is it Dyson?
No, the one I got, I can't even remember what brand I got. The Dysons would be great, but they're god awful expensive.
Yes, they are.
We've got one of the Dyson hand vacs, and they're nice. It's not any better than a dust buster, really. It's just the design is fancier.
I have the Dyson V7 with the wall charger and everything on it, and it's got the long stick on it. You can use it for a floor vac, or it does about everything. And for a small apartment like I got, it's perfect. But I actually owned that back when I had the big house, and that's the only vacuum I kept. But yeah, you're right. It's a $300 investment. So
yeah, we've got the V6. It's basically the same thing without the long thing, and probably not quite as much power. Does yours have a hair trigger? Ours does. When you pick it up, you touch the trigger and it goes off.
Yep.
You're not expecting it.
Yep.
But so I had some store rewards. So I got an Amazon gift card and ordered a stick vac for upstairs. And there's a closet that I can put an outlet in, so I can set up the charger and stuff, and it all can fit in that closet.
You know what they say about ordering stuff on Amazon? Always use somebody's link.
That's what they say.
For good luck. For good luck.
And it doesn't cost you anything. And it gives whoever's Amazon store, they get a little kickback, but you're basically just doing your regular shopping, and you don't really see a difference. Gunmetal Guy USA's out there.
Is this a cordless rechargeable one they got her?
Yeah.
Right at the house probably, and you're just calling it your wife's gift.
Here, let me look up my Amazon orders, and I can tell you.
I've got quite a few of the cordless ones that are. It's crazy. I mean, there's the power. They're essentially drills. Instead of putting them, connecting them to a hand drill, they connect them to the vacuum fan or whatever it is. So they're pretty powerful.
I got a Shark.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Sharks are nice.
That's what.
I have 3 Sharks, I think.
They kind of started out as seen on TV products, but they've been around a while, and they seem to the
Well, they have
overall reviews that I see, they seem to be all right. So
they make a lot of things, like, and they keep making more. So that's usually an indication that they don't get bad reviews, right? They're selling.
yeah, but just kind of the things I was looking for was, um, kind of light. So it's for her, it's easy to use, and then the rotary head will come off, and you've got the long stick, so she can vacuum up spiders
Yeah,
off the
go up
ceiling.
into the ceilings, exactly.
Yeah. Holy hillbillies! I'm ashamed to say this, but my wife bought a $3,000 vacuum. I just drink beer and stare at it while shaking my head.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wonder if it's
I
You
still
definitely
cry
want,
about it sometimes.
definitely want to buy that off of somebody's Amazon link.
Oh, I ordered on Amazon. It was somebody salesman to come by her office.
Was it
Must be a
whatever
Kirby.
Lux?
Auric?
Well, it's the one that it sets on its own pedestal, and like you fill it up with water, and then it's got the vacuum hose stuff you hook to it, so it has the head where it's kind of like the Bissell thing where it goes like way down low and goes under couches and everything.
Oh,
And it's got all kinds of stuff on it. And plus you can actually use a
Steve
still
Clear.
for your room to get all the dust and particles out of your room. You just like reverse it and you like unplug the vacuum and stuff. And I understand, but still, you got to fill it up with water and then you got to dump it afterwards. And I don't know. I assume they get it actually works good. I mean, honestly, it never clogs up, and like you can take a regular vacuum the floor, and then take that one and vacuum it, and you will see the stuff that most vacuums miss. But still, that kind of money it still kind of makes me sick at my stomach.
Yeah,
I mean, you use that would have bought?
that's that's a lot.
Yeah. I don't even know the name of it.
I was thinking maybe like an Electrolux if they're coming around and door to door and selling them.
Oh, is that
Give me a
one of the
minute.
core
I'll actually
vacuum
go.
tools?
I'll go look at the name of it. I'm curious myself.
For that price, it should be able to build its own mini vacuums to go out and.
Well, that's the thing. The
Like
little
stuff.
the little guys the little robots can cost $1,000 right there. I've got a
Yeah.
couple that are super nice that they got mops in them and they're super heavy. Like I've got one that's a $20 one, and it's what you'd expect for a $20 one. It's like a remote control car with a dust busters strapped to it, and then the really expensive ones are way heavier. Like they're way heavier. They're real. They've got like real vacuums. They're really neat. But the expensive ones I think are close to $1,000 or more for the little hockey pucks that scoot around. Well, I guess big dinner plates that scoot around.
We've got one, and they're good for like supplemental vacuuming. They're not.
Yeah, they're not the only thing. They just keep the house
Yeah.
tidy, right?
Yeah. And there's all kinds of different ones. The ones that are really neat, I think. I can't remember if it's what brand is it. It's not Sanyo, but they'll like the Roombas will randomly roam around. These ones will map out the room.
Yeah.
And then
and make the perfect grid for it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
we've
that
got
kind
two
I
of them that have LiDAR,
yeah,
low
I
content intensity radar.
I would have liked to have those, but those are thought it was just too expensive.
Yeah, and what's
I
the
guess.
big difference between if it finds like it drives up and hits a table leg and turns around versus drives around your room, scans everything, makes a 3D map, and never touches anything because it only drives where there hasn't been anything?
Yeah.
It just seems like overkill when it's going to give it the same 2 hours and it's going to vacuum the same room. It's just one of them's going to do it calculated and one of them's going to do it accidental random.
Well, I will tell you on those, they need to have four-wheel drive because they will get stuck on every carpet, throw carpet and everything you have in your room.
Yeah, the good ones have definitely, like, they have suspensions and they've got just, I'll do a thing sometime whenever I get a chance to, that the differences in the wheels between the like $400, $1,000 one and it's like $400 for the robot, $1,000 for the unit because the unit costs money too. But the cheap ones are just remote control cars, and the really expensive ones are appliances.
My Roomba doesn't. Well, we don't have any thick carpets. We just got some rugs, but it'll get stuck under the corner of the couch. That's the place it gets stuck. I added bumpers
in
to
there?
mine. What's that?
Like gets pinched in there, the couch.
Yeah.
Pinched it. Yeah.
Yeah. I put bumpers on mine because it's the perfect height to wedge into some furniture or under certain counters. So I added bumpers, and so now pretty much the only spot is the corner of the couch, and then there's a recliner that if it gets in behind the recliner, it'll get stuck back there. But
And you just find it dead in these places sometimes.
yeah, there's an alert. So if it gets stuck and doesn't move for a little bit, then you hear boo boo. Move
Oh, nice. They
Roomba.
cry at you, make you come get them.
Yeah, that if the battery dies while it's working, boom boom. Then it says whatever it wants to say. But my Roomba follows me. If I go to the other room, the Roomba will come to the other room. If I go in the bathroom, if I don't close the door, the Roomba ends up in the bathroom with me.
Do you drop a lot of crumbs while you're walking around?
I don't know. I've had it meet me at the door when I've come home before.
Dad, you're home.
But I have thrown it across the room a few times. But I'm working on the computer and it'll start bumping my chair. And I get a little irritated with it and say quickly move it to the other side of the room.
I wonder if there's something that the fancy ones have that you can tell it, like, leave me alone or go away, and then it'll go somewhere else.
There are little basically they make an electronic barrier.
Because they do make noise, right, when they're running.
Yeah. There's a little I don't know how to explain what it is. I'm trying to see if I've got something that kind of looks like it, but you can set these things in an area and the Roomba will sense it, puts out a signal. So when the Roomba get close to it, it'll stop it from going over there.
So if you got like stairs, you put that in front of your stairs and it leaves them all.
Well, it has a sensor on board for stairs, but I had it underneath like the computer desk so it wouldn't get mixed in with wires and stuff. And they work okay, but after a while they seem to stop working.
They probably got batteries in them, huh?
Well, even with new fresh batteries, it just doesn't seem to work well. And they've got two modes: one where it puts out a circular barrier, or you can set it up so that it makes a line.
Does your Roomba have a remote control with it?
No.
See, ours
No.
is not Roomba. It's something else. The one we have like that, and it does have remote control.
Yeah, ours is kind of the more the base model. It doesn't have the
Yeah, that's a picture of that. It's called a Hyla.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, sadly, I have. Now, I will say it works wonderful. I, cannot say anything bad about it. We've had it for probably 7 years, and it still runs like a charm. But we also have one of those Roomba type deals, and like I said, I just kind of gave up on it because it always gets stuck somewhere. But we do have 2 Australian Shepherd dogs that live in the house, and if anybody's ever owned an Australian Shepherd, they shed 24/7, 365 days a year, and so that was kind of my wife's reasoning to getting this, and it does a wonderful job. But yeah, that's a lot. I don't know. It still kind of makes me sick at my stomach.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they probably only sell them to idiots like me. But I will say they do work. I can't say anything about it bad. I mean, put it that way, other than the price tag.
Is that a frog or a snake on?
A frog. Yep. I guess because it's got water in it, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it has a line. You actually put fresh water in it. And I understand what the deal. It like traps every bit of the dust. So it all gets trapped in the water the way it recirculates. So it does a wonderful job, but still you have to, dump it, with that piece, like the latch comes on, the top comes off, and it's got a handle that flips up so you can carry the water part outside, dump it, blah, blah, blah. And it will have a lot of dog hair or, just human hair or what. It really does a good job, but who wants to like do that every time they vacuum? Like the ones where you like pop the vacuum canister off. You walk over to the trash can, you push a button on the bottom of it, it dumps it in the trash can. You snap it back together, put it on the vacuum, and you're ready to go again. I like those way better as far as that goes.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their website. Yeah, that's interesting. On their website you can buy accessories and stuff, but they don't sell the units themselves.
Yeah, you may have to wait for a feller coming by your door. I don't know.
Well, they can come by, but I wouldn't answer the door.
They probably only made that one, and Hillbilly bought it.
Yeah, they got their profit margin.
Yeah.
Decided to retire.
Huh. Well, as long as it works, I guess. Yeah.
That's a lot of discussion on your wife's Christmas present. Like 30 minutes worth of vacuum talk.
Yeah, and she doesn't watch my chat, so she can wait till Christmas to be disappointed.
At least you didn't get her workout equipment. That's always a bad mistake.
Bill, you can get in shape so you can look better.
Yeah, that's what guys think, but women think different.
No, you should have got her a new set of pots and pans. They'd love that stuff.
I did get her. I got it was a couple of years ago. Le Creuset. It's one of the. It's like ceramic coated cast iron, which it does an awesome job cooking like chicken and stuff. Makes great tender chicken. But it's something she specifically asked for.
So the important part is, what are you getting kids? What are the kids getting?
I don't know. Whatever my wife got.
Oh,
I know I got my son a gift card for Nintendo, so
for like
he'll give us a list.
purchases or whatever.
What's that?
For like in-game purchases, like I want this skin and I want this upgrade on my character and I want this new joystick or some shit.
No, there was a couple games that he wanted, so I just got him the gift card so he can pick out what game he wants. So he can choose for himself. And then my wife ordered some other stuff. Well, we asked him to make a list of stuff that he'd like, and then we'll pick some of the stuff off that for Christmas, and then his birthday is kind of the beginning of the year, so some of that'll be for his birthday.
Oh man. My one grandma, her birthday was Christmas Eve.
I've got a niece that hers was the 26th. I always kind of felt bad because people would forget that her birthday was, the day after Christmas.
Well, even if they don't forget, they're like, "Hey, happy birthday, Christmas!" Like, here's your one thing, or here's two things right away, I guess. But you're only getting like one party.
And I've got a friend that I think his might be the 26th also. I know his is like right after Christmas too. So I would always send him his a Christmas gift and then birthday gift. I could ship it all at one time.
What's the weather like? Is it snowing anywhere? It's raining here, but it would be snow if it was cold enough. But it's like 50 degrees. It's nowhere near cold enough.
It's been kind of rainy here it's kind of cold enough, but when it rains, it warms up enough where it's rain instead of snow.
Yeah, whenever we get snow, by 9 or 10, it's gone. But sometimes we get snow in the morning.
It says it's 41. I'm not sure if that's right or not because it was cold today.
It's only 46 outside here.
It is 57 here and raining.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was actually really nice out today, wasn't it, Gizzard? Other than cloudy.
Yeah, it
was nice.
Yeah.
Are you all close enough that you have the same weather?
Yeah, we share some of it.
I usually get it a little bit before Hillbilly does. But
yeah, Gary's my weatherman.
Yeah, pretty much.
It says it's supposed to drop another 10 degrees tonight, so it'll get down to 32.
That's not good because that'll be heading towards us too, probably.
Yeah, no snow for Christmas this year.
So I'm sitting here looking at my Twitter, and some kid has a post, and it goes, It's one of these things like, here's a bunch of things. Give yourself a point for everything you've never done before. And then I imagine kids are going to get a bunch of points on this. But it's use a rotary phone, use a floppy disk, use a typewriter, take photos with a film camera, listen to music on a CD, listen to a cassette tape, listen to a vinyl record, listen to a Walkman, listen to a boombox, watched a video off a VHS tape. So that's the kind of shit the kids are sitting around talking about if they've ever even experienced it or not. Like there's people that are like sitting around going, I wonder, oh, you've listened to a Walkman before? Like, oh, that's some kind of achievement or feat that kids can lord over each other, I guess. Like, oh, I've heard Grandpa's Walkman.
Well, most younger people only know about a Walkman because that one sci-fi movie. What was the name of it?
E.T.?
Huh?
E.T.?
No. Oh man, somebody help me out.
Trying to remember which one they played with the Walkman.
Well, like the soundtrack's awesome. It's all like 80s music and stuff. I mean,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians.
Oh, yeah. That's a new one. Yeah. That's true.
And do you know after that, like those were going for like selling for good money on eBay and all that stuff. Just those Sony Walkmans.
Well, he had
And
a sport,
cassette tapes.
the yellow sport one, right? Those were pretty expensive when they first came out. Did anybody have one of those yellow sport Walkmans when they first came out?
No.
You know what I'm talking about, though? Like they
Yeah.
were 1,000 times better than the little ones I got.
I remember the friend I was out with today that we went to the range. I remember going to his place and he had a CD player. And that was, I think, shortly after the home unit CD players had come out. It's like, ooh, ah.
When they were the size of a whole like record player component thing.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
I think that's the first one I got. 5 CDs or 3 CDs because that's all I could afford at the time.
Yeah, I remember also having a discussion with him sometime when the Super NES came out, and he had asked me if I was going to buy one, and I'm like, no, I'll wait until they're, I think I said like 64-bit, and he's like, 64-bit? They're never going to be 64-bit. I think
that they were like 16 or something.
Yeah.
Is he like thinking 2 iterations away or something?
Yeah. I had just picked like a large number. I'm like, yeah, I'll just wait till they're this big. And it's like, they're never going to be that big. That's ridiculous. Because the NES was 8-bit and then the Super NES was 16-bit. And I did end up getting a Super NES.
We're talking like back in those days, it was somebody got an Atari and then everybody played that. They went to their house, and then back in those days, you'd pick your Atari up because nobody had it plugged into a TV permanently anyway. You'd pick it up and take it places. And then, so you would take it to other people's house essentially. And then somebody got, I don't remember what came next. Didn't television come next? But somebody else would get one. And then, so anyway, like in the area, like on my side of the school sort of thing, like somebody on our side of the school had an Atari, and then somebody got whatever the next one was, and then the next one. And it wasn't until about, I don't know, quite a few years later that everybody started getting them, when you could get an Atari cheap, I guess. But when they first come out, it was like one kid in the neighborhood would have it, and then everybody would kind of like line up at that kid's house to get in line to play it like it was an arcade, like a free arcade or something. At least that's how it went when I was a little kid with those during that first era. Because not everybody, it wasn't like Ataris came out and everybody had an Atari. It's like one or two people in the I guess neighborhood. I don't know what to call it. Like, all the kids on this side of the
Yeah.
school played with each other, and all the kids on that side of the school might as well have lived in another country because nobody went over there. So they might have had an Atari over there somewhere, but everybody on our side of the school would pay like 2 kids' house with their Atari.
Yeah. Top tip for the Space Invaders on the Atari 2600. If you turn the game on and hit the reset at the same time, your little tank will shoot two shots at a time rather than a single shot.
Was that intentional or some kind of extra mistake?
Have no idea. But I think the counter stops at 99 levels, and I was able to max out whatever it was because of that.
You can talk about that Glock question, or you're scared?
No, I was just kind of waiting for this conversation to end. I looked up the OEM Glock mags, about $25 is what they go for. I prefer to stick with factory mags personally.
PMags are usually pretty good.
I'd stick with factory also, and then look for somebody who's upgrading or got rid of their gun, and then buy all their used stuff, ideally, unless you're in a big hurry. Because usually people who are leaving a gun behind, they could care less about their mags, and they're going to sell them because they want something out of them, but you'll get them the cheapest, better than any sale. And a lot of times people buy so many that they may have never even shot a couple of them. Gun shows are good for that if you got them.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck to anything under factory. I kind of hung the Magpul with their PMags just because I've never had any trouble with theirs. I mean, somebody else may have, but me personally, I have not.
Their Magpuls ain't cheaper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, if you're talking about, like
$25, what's cheaper? 15, like 20, like
15 to 20, and, and you see some people like, they're like, oh yeah, still mag, but if you really want to last a lifetime, you go with aluminum. So, I mean, there's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down, when you talk about mags.
One of the people that I did take a friend to the range video with, one of the ones that after we went to the range, he ended up buying his own gun, and then got a membership to the same gun club I go to. But now his girlfriend, after shooting his gun, she wants her own gun. So
oh, nice.
We got a twofer.
That is sweet. Did you tell him to let her pick out her own gun?
No, oh, she did. She's dead set on
500
P365.
I'm sorry. I think I walked on you there, Betty. What'd she like?
Oh, a P365.
Oh, nice.
He said she shot it and shot it really well, and so that's the one she wants. Wonder if Pat fell asleep.
He's drinking a bottle of clear something earlier on Guns, Beer, and Therapy. He may
Well, he's basically the only reason I'm having a chat tonight, because I slept through my alarm and he called me. Said, "Are you doing a chat? Family's all out. I can jump in." Like, yeah, I'll get up. I'll get it scheduled. Ozzy Osbourne's out there. Good evening. So hopefully that answered your Glock magazine question, Vulcan. I just, I know the factory mags work well, and so that's, I just stick with that. And like the P mags I have for ARs, that's all of 90% of my magazines are P mags. So they do make decent magazines. Ozzy said he carries a Sig P 365. Has a pattern for the leather holster for it. Yeah, but the friend that I took to the range, we took my G20, and he said he really liked it. He might have to get himself one. I really like my G20. It's one of my favoriteest handguns that I have. He did not care for the Super Blackhawk 44 Magnum. It was a little too much for him.
The recoil?
Yeah. But I think part of it, I was going to show it because I still have it all the guns in the bag here, but I almost showed it. The guard on it, it rubs on your fingers, which is, I think, why there's a Bisley one, which is supposed to be better, more economic, or not economic,
ergonomic.
Thank you.
I don't like them. Beasleys are so weird to me. That's definitely a grip angle I cannot get behind.
I've never seen one up close.
I bought one and owned it for a while, and then luckily was able to return it because the guy at the shop was like, "Yeah, I figured you'd bring it back. Most people bring them back. They either love them or they hate them. Yeah, they're weird. You know what? It's like riding a bicycle different. Like, isn't there a different way to ride a bicycle? It's just like, or maybe I don't know. It's just so drastically different that either you really dig it or it's just super uncomfortable and you don't like it. I really didn't even realize when I got it. They were like, "You sure you want this?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I was looking at the single action part of it. And I wasn't even paying attention to the like it compared to other guns and stuff.
When I bought it, when I go up to Cabela's, I'll look at the used guns, go into the gun library, and I saw it in there, and it's like, oh, that's kind of pretty. It's a stainless 7.5-inch barrel. And I thought about it, and it's like, well, no, I don't. I probably shouldn't. I went home and
they won't let you shoot it. They don't have a range there.
No. I went home and kept thinking about it, and I went back the next day and bought it.
Wait, are we talking about the Beasley or the Smith & Wesson?
No, the Blackhawk that I have.
Oh, okay.
You said 7.5-inch barrel?
Yeah.
But it's a Beasley or a regular?
It's a regular.
Oh, okay.
That's sweet, man. I love long barrel revolvers.
Well, I have been wanting a large, just kind of ridiculous gun. And I had been thinking about it for a while and then just kind of stumbled over this one. It's not large enough. It's not ridiculous enough. So I still want either a 454 Casull or a 500. But I don't know.
And a judge wouldn't do it for you because they get pretty big. You can get big judges.
I shot G23's judge, and it's all right, but it's not it.
You were able to judge his judge?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the gun itself. It's just doesn't do it for me. Ever since way back in the mid 90s ish, there's a contractor when I was working for the Washington State University. They redid all their communication lines through the dorms, and I was working with that project. And one of the contractors who laid out where all the core holes when they had to drill through the cement walls to run lines and stuff. I ran around with him for a while, and I was hanging out with him at his house, and he had a 454 Casull single action laying on his floor, and I kind of fell in love with it. I didn't touch it because he didn't say anything about it. It was just kind of for some reason there on the floor, but I love the look of it, and I kind of always wanted one since then. So that's, either a Smith & Wesson 500 or single action 454 Casull. I would love also a Desert Eagle, but I shot one of the 357 ones.
BFR or a Desert Eagle semi-auto?
Semi-auto.
Well-
I've shot like the 357 one, and they are, my hands are not big enough to comfortably shoot that. But
Not
they're
really.
cool
Not
as
too
shit.
people are, yeah. But you don't need to. You just have to hold on to it. You don't have to like hold it like you're holding a tiny gun. What's up with Gizzard?
I think he's having internet problems.
Yeah, he's at his daughter's tonight.
Oh, okay.
Can I give you a suggestion, boss?
Sure.
One gun that I absolutely love. I mean, really, if you like big revolvers, and that's Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum, because you can also shoot the 454 Casull, you can shoot the 45 Colt and the 45 Schofield through it. And
I've had people suggest that.
with the muzzle brake at the end, the vented barrel, I mean, it is just such a pleasure to shoot, because when it's ported like that, like, you still get some recoil, but the energy that comes around you on your left and right when you shoot that is just amazing. I mean, it's, oh man, it's like Christmas every time you shoot it, at least for me. And it's not one of those that's gonna like with that setup, it's not gonna like really hurt the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
Like a 500 mag, probably will.
I
Have you shot a 500?
no.
I mean, they're a little like catching a bat, I guess. I mean, they are pretty big, but they're, I don't know. I think of more of like trying to hold on to the thing rather than the recoil. Or at least I'm more focused on holding on to the thing than the recoil I get from it. But I'm not little either.
DJ playing nice. Beretta 92 hand grip is just a scooch too big. J-frame Smiths are a scooch too small, but they're far more comfortable. I will say that depends on what J-frame you have.
And what grip you got, because you can get different, brands and types.
Because my Airweight 357 is a bitch. I cannot shoot a full box of 357 with it. So I changed the grips to Hogue, put the Hogues on it, and that helped, but it is rough. Because I think fully loaded, it's less than a pound.
You shot an LCR before or no?
No. Yeah.
Have you ever
Yes.
held an LCR?
No.
Oh, so LCR is one of the nice things about an LCR is the grip on it. It's got a bunch of like honeycomb or whatever you call like the there's more than just being rubber. It's rubber in a design that's like a, crushable design. I don't know what to call that. So it takes up space, but it's a cushion. It's a shock absorber.
Yeah.
So I never had one for my. Wait, do I still have my I think I got rid of my ultralight one, but I used to have a little ultralight J-frame before the Ruger LCR, and the Ruger LCR is plastic, so it is lighter, right? So it wins because it's made out of plastic. But the lightweight one, like you say, that thing was like catching a pipe. Like catching a bat is one thing. I'll catch a baseball bat all day, but catching an iron pipe, that hurts. Like I'm sick of catching iron pipes. That little guy was tough to. That's why I didn't mind getting rid of it, I think. But I never thought about putting. It came with a very small grip because it's the whole idea is to make it small and concealable or whatever.
Yeah.
But if it's small already and you don't need it concealable, I'm thinking if it had a Ruger style grip on it, like I think it's Hogue or somebody, but a big cushiony grip, it might make that gun at least better. I'm not saying it's going to make it pleasant, but it'll make it better. Maybe. But then you'd have to deal with a, physically bigger grip, probably bigger than the rest of the gun. But I don't know if that's an option for you, if you'd consider that or not, if it would work for your application.
Well, I figure, I could shoot. It doesn't disable me to shoot it. And then if I had to use it in self-defense, adrenaline is a hell of a painkiller. So I won't feel it at the time. So, it's kind of my reasoning. But with it so light, it's really easy to carry.
Yeah, I put you a picture there of the 460 and the 500 side by side.
Yeah.
460 at the top, 500 at the bottom.
There's that one or two shots to chop that tree in half like that.
Well, the even more stupid thing is I want the snubby 500. I love the look of it. And these are probably, I'll never get them just because they're expensive.
Yeah. They're both
my buddy. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say they're both sweet guns. I mean, honestly, they are.
I do. Every now and again, I'll go through and then see who has what and for how much. Well, Gary, go ahead and plug your Sunday, not Sunday, Christmas chat before you take off.
Okay. Yeah, Monday morning, Christmas morning, we're going to do a special version of the early bird chat. That'll be at 9:00 a.m. Central, and we'll probably run till at least noon. So if anybody, I'm not asking you to abandon your families or anything like that, but if you've got some spare time and want to stop and tell everybody Merry Christmas, I will be online, and we'll have some fun on Christmas morning. So I look forward to seeing everyone. And of course, thanks for having me. I'm sorry to have to bail, but I'm about to fall asleep here. So.
Oh, well, thanks for jumping in.
I heard everybody that joins Gizzard Show gets a present.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Gary. You see you, buddy.
Good one.
He didn't deny it.
My buddy that came over today, he brought two of his handguns. We didn't take them to the range. One was a 22. It was standard manufacturing. I forget what model it was, but it kind of looked like a buckmark. It was cool. It had some surface rust and pitting on it. And then he had, I think, a Model 19, Smith & Wesson Model 19.
Nice.
It was when he checked the date on it, I think he said it was like 70. It's from 70 or 71. It was cool. It's kind of neat to see the old guns with the firing pin on the hammer.
Mm-hmm. Where they're supposed to be. Is it a snub nose or a big one?
It was a big one. It was his. I forget which family members, their service revolver.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I think DJ's right. High standard, not. I think I said standard manufacturer. High standard, maybe.
High standards look like Rugers a little bit. Kind of look like a Ruger Mark II ish.
Yeah. Yeah, it was his. I think his dad's. Can't remember which model it was, but it kind of looked like this. But I don't know. I don't think this is the exact model. There's green, so it looks something like this one.
I owned one of those for a little while. I don't even know if I ever shot it before I sold it.
That's cool.
I knew people that, are, what do you call it, like collectors of these, and they'll grab anyone they see. So I got one at a good price one time, and I was like, well, I'm buying this because I know I'll probably be able to sell it. Nowhere near that price. Like, take $1,000 off, more like that price, but I don't know why that one costs so much.
Yeah, like I said, I don't.
Military one, maybe.
I don't know. I know he told me the model, but I don't recall what it was. But it looked like this.
They made a million of them, and they all look the same to me.
Guns and Waters out there. We are up late, and
Most of
Garage Guy's saying the new Rossi Snubbies have firing pins on the hammers.
Really? Imported? That usually is a ding against importation, so they usually don't do it. But then maybe they're making them here. You may not be able to hear it, but the dog is sleeping, so
Yeah, I can hear him snoring.
we're not all awake. Some of you might have thought that was Gizzard, so. I got a question about the bracket. Is that going to be something that goes over the day, like to be like an overnight, and then it counts as a Christmas bracket, or will it be completely outside of the Christmas bracket?
No, fortunately, when I was wrapping presents, it got mixed up in a box, and I don't know which present. Don't know which box it was in, and I can't open them because I don't want to open the wrong one.
So you're saying some kid probably will just open up a bracket this Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I got a bracket.
And when I met up with the other friend, the friend went out for lunch, tried a new little place in Olympia, the Cascadia, I think it's Cascadia Grill, had their Cascadia burger, really good cheeseburger. It's a double cheeseburger. I actually couldn't finish it, but I really enjoyed it. Nice little place. So if you're in Olympia, down on 4th Street, there's a lot of little restaurants down there. There's a lot of neat stuff down there. You just got to kind of walk around the homeless and the crazy people shouting on the corner. But there's some really neat shops down there. There was a dude that on the street corner had a few boxes of vinyl records. And I would have loved, I didn't have time to stop and look through the record. I would have loved to look through his records, see what he had.
So if you were answering that list, you have listened to a vinyl record before?
Yes, I have. I still have one. I have the Spider-Man. Kind of tells his origin story. Has the Green Goblin and
It's like a book on tape, except it's a record.
yeah. And the album cover opens up and then you've got the comic panels.
That'd be pretty cool. Oh, like the actual comic that it's reading to you? Like it's reading you the comic that you're looking at? Oh, I've never seen that.
I had one when I was a kid and then got lost over the years, so I rebought it. How's it going, Barbecue? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. What's new with you?
A whole lot of nothing. How about yourself?
Well, you're looking at it right now. Oh, I have two records. I have a 45. It's the theme for the Seattle Pilots, the original MLB team that was only here in Seattle for a year. There's a guy I found online years ago, Bob Pegg, out of Tacoma, that has thousands of 45s. And I was kind of looking through what he had and stumbled across the Seattle Pilots theme, so I bought it. Kind of cool dude. And didn't get to know him real well, but just kind of back and forth a little bit with him. I think he still has a website. This was more than 10 years ago.
I'm going to go ahead and eat this donut. I hope it doesn't bother anybody if I go ahead and eat this donut right here.
I think everybody would be okay with that.
Okay.
Did you bring enough to share?
I got a tiny fork and I got a knife, so if anybody wants a little tiny bite off of this donut.
I can see somebody does.
It's essentially poison. He's not allowed to look at this donut.
Yeah.
Somebody woke up just because there's a donut hanging around his face.
The goddamn bacon's out there. But the burger place was Cascadia Grill. It's about a block away from the Oyster House restaurant on 4th.
Take a bunch of oysters and put them on a hamburger bun and then put some ketchup and mustard on there and some lettuce.
Guns and Water is excited to see you, Barbecue. Barbecue.
Water always goes good with barbecue.
Barbecue and Water in the new channel, the new video, the new show.
There we go.
Barbecue a new thing every day and then have a different kind of glass of water.
Waters from around the world.
I don't know. I'm kind of picky about my water. I'm gonna say it's got to be spring water, and even then, some spring waters just don't cut it.
Don't you get good water where you're at? I just kind of assumed you probably had good water where you're at.
The well here, it's not awful, but could be better. Normally what I do is fill up some water bottles, and if you let it sit for about 24 hours in the fridge, after that, it's good.
To answer Guns and Waters, the 45 was Go Go You Pilots, the theme for the Seattle Pilots. That was back when I was collecting baseball stuff. Wow, DJ, at last count, I had 1,600 12-inch records, 800 7-inch singles. And Garage Guy, his grandma's buried in the same cemetery as Jimi Hendrix. Or, 45 the record or 45 my Kimber? 45. If
DJ
it's
saying he has that many records, nobody needs that many records.
well, as long as he's storing them, safely storing them.
Responsibly.
Yeah. So the kids don't get into them.
Oh, you know what you can do? Run like a cord right through the hole on all of them, and then, like they do at a gun show, run a cord through them and then a lock on there.
You wouldn't want the kids getting into them and having a disco party.
DJ lives in Nebraska. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to dance in that state, right? I've seen movies about this.
Nobody keeps
that
baby.
Gizzard? It might be Gizzard. I forget what state that is. One of the square states, though, you're not allowed to dance in there.
Kevin Bacon would differ with that opinion.
Yeah, when Kevin Bacon picked his name, I mean, who doesn't like bacon? Yeah.
DJ said that was Kansas.
Pigs are against bacon.
Yes, they are.
DJ said he has 800 to 1,000 CDs.
What? You can't scratch a CD.
Garage Guy saying a great Christmas album was Kiss Alive back in 77. People around here were flooding the stores looking for it. I remember when I was a child, my dad used to take me to the tavern with him, and I would sit on the pool table, or they had a kind of pre-video game thing. It was like a duck hunt where the duck would kind of flash, but you could see, the duck would light up and then move. It would light up and move and light up. And then you had like a shotgun to shoot it. It was kind of like a shooting gallery thing, but I remember sitting.
You had like a physical shotgun that had a flashlight in it or something.
Yeah. And this would have been early 70s, maybe mid 70s. And I called home and got my sister that's 3 years older than me. And she was excited because the Kiss movie was on TV.
So you're sitting there having fun, and then you call home and you're like, dang it, no, I'm not having fun because I'm missing the Kiss movie, and there's no such thing as a VCR yet, so you're just missing it, playing up, not seeing it.
I remember the day that the Kiss movie was on TV.
I think I remember it, but I was little.
Just so happened our granny was watching us that night, and she wasn't going to let us watch them. We had to totally convince her that it's okay with our parents. And by the one of the ways we convinced her was going into like where the high top console was, opening it up and pulling out a couple of Kiss records and showing her that, yeah, our parents listen to this. It's okay if we watch this.
Did she think they were the devil?
I am pretty sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, what Gene Simmons, like his boots had rockets on them or something. Or I mean, I can't remember. It's been so many years since I've seen that. But weren't they like at an amusement park or something at one point in that or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
That's about all I remember.
Well, Gizzard would know. He's not here now, but was Kiss the first band to do that, or were they copying off of somebody? I mean, with the makeup and stuff, I think they were first, but did they, with merchandising and stuff, were they the first one to do all that? Besides posters, it was like dolls and, like you're saying, TV, and like they did a bunch of stuff. And I'm sure they didn't, they weren't worried about the music. They were doing it to do the whole package, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I had
Oops, there needs to be a documentary on like where Kiss came up with that. Then DJ saying they're the first ones.
well, I had a teacher at WSU that was talked about Kiss, and she said basically the tall boots is their heroic boots from back Greece, from like Greece plays. I think it was Grecian times, but they would have the tall boots, and then you knew they were the hero. And the face makeup came from something else, and she
It's
kind of
not like
talked
they
about.
came up with it out of nowhere. They were doing elements from existing things. You mean?
Yeah,
Or they just brought together existing elements into one thing? How's he saying about Alice Cooper? I've seen a whole show about Alice Cooper, like a documentary talking about all the things that he did, which I would have never known. We have him on the radio out here, though. He's in Phoenix on the radio all the time.
Alice Cooper's like very well educated, ain't he? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know not much about him because I never listened to him or nothing. But then I seen that documentary, and I'm like, and I've listened to his radio show. His radio show is pretty good. And I'm like, oh crap, I had no idea this guy's like really put a lot of effort into it.
him and I'm not going to think of anybody's name that's in Kiss. Paul Stanley.
Stanley and
Yeah,
Simmons.
they were kind of the organized money guys, the business. And
they wanted it to be a company and a business more than just playing around. Yeah.
And then the other two were they just wanted to play around. I'm not a Kiss historian, so this is just kind of stories that I've heard some from like the band members talking. But
we were going to do a band, but Barbecue and I couldn't figure out who was going to have the star on our eye, so we just decided to part ways amicably and not do the band at all.
Yeah, it was too hard to figure out.
I'm not going to sit there and play the guitar and watch that guy have a star in his eye if I can't have a star in my eye. And we needed two people with a star in their eye. That would be horrible.
I wasn't going to sit there and listen to somebody play guitar and not have a star in my eye. So,
Garage Guy said he was talking the Alive 2 from '77.
Was that when Gene Simmons had that show or whatever? He'd always say something about Peter Criss wouldn't let anybody forget that he wrote the song Beth or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. I just remember like Gene Simmons kind of always like digging at him, and that song or something.
Yeah, I watched a few of the episodes on that just to try and I'll watch stuff sometimes just to try and understand it. And that was one that I watched a few episodes just to try and understand what the show was about, and kind of learned a little bit about Gene Simmons.
Well, it's way easier to understand than Ozzy Osbourne's reality show.
That I didn't watch as because of that.
They always had to translate for him what he said.
Well, his son came out later and said, yeah, he was hard to understand because he was high all the time when he was doing the show.
And mumbling 'cause he's like on the heroin or whatever.
I'm not a huge Kiss fan. There's only a few songs that I like. And it's like one album, basically. But it was probably they're basically what you could call a concert band where, the music is all right. There's nothing wrong with music, but then you add in the stage show and all that, and seeing them live. There's bands that are so much better to see live than they are to hear on the radio. And I haven't seen them live, but I imagine that's the way they are.
You know who I thought was boring is Metallica. You ever watch Metallica at a concert?
No, I wasn't a
I'm used
Metallica
to.
fan.
I guess I'm used to going to smaller concerts and then dead shows, and then I went to this Metallica thing, and it was Metallica and Suicidal and somebody else. So I was like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome!" And I went there, and I've never seen so many people just stand there and watch a band in my life. And I'm like, "Are you serious? Like, everybody just standing here observing?" It was so boring and lame. But
Well, I saw Alice in Chains in concert.
that'd be good. I think I seen them a long
It was
time
not
ago when
good.
they were little.
I mean, the
But
music
this
was
in like
fine.
a room of like 300 people. It was pretty good.
I saw them at the Paramount. I think the Paramount or First Ave. I can't remember whichever in Seattle, whichever the bigger one was. But basically, he came out, grabbed the mic, kind of stood in one position, sang a few songs, took his jacket off, went back to that same position, and then we actually left early.
Were you a fan of Alice in Chains though?
Not really.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite bands, so I wouldn't.
I do like, Man in the Box, Rooster. I really like that. I like that song more. And then there's one other one that I can't.
I like that entire album.
How's it going, DJ?
Looking to improve, man. And talking about music, that's burning my ears. I'm going to jump in and do that. So, not a Kiss historian, but oh my God, the contact and the appreciation that I had for that band, faux show. And that Kiss and the Phantom of the Park, man. What a piece of garbage that was.
Them Bones, that's the other song that I really like.
Yeah, Alice in Chains, 93, Lollapalooza. That was like the first and I think the only time that I saw them. But they were, grunge worthy for sure, for sure.
Larry Knopf's out there. Larry's the guy I saw at the range today. He was coming in as we were leaving.
Of the lizard variety?
No, as the Knopf.
Oh.
Ozzy said high energy shows like Sammy Hagar and Ted Nugent was his favorite.
Yeah,
I haven't been to a ton of concerts.
I'm a big fan of the Red Rocker, man.
Oh yeah. So is it Van Halen or Van Hagar for you, Hillbilly? Which one?
You know, I like both of them, and I can understand both
Yeah.
people's sides of it. But you know, just straight, you know, Sammy, you know, 3 Lock Box. You know, I mean,
Ooh.
you know, I'm not, you know, and plus that is the first really hard, you know, rock concert I ever seen, and Crocus was opening for him.
Tonight, Long Stick goes boom. Man, I haven't thought about those bands in a while, and you're like 1, 2, 3 Lockbox.
Oh,
I love that song. I love that song, man. And Montrose, you know, Rock Candy, that is still an incredible rock anthem for sure. And oh my God, how many times did I play that for the strippers when I was DJing strip clubs? That's a good one for that.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that Sammy was in Montrose either.
Yeah. Little known, you know, lesser known for sure kind of thing. And they got a boost though after he joined Van Halen. And there were a few tours, though I did not see them, where he would do a couple of Montrose songs. Yeah. And I thought that was a cool nod, you know. And as far as like, you know, Van Hagar or Van Halen, I have to be Van Halen. I just had like almost no appreciation for your boy at the time. I like was so rooted in those first 3 or 4 Van Halen albums. Go ahead.
Him with Van Halen, they're not good songs.
Now, even though I don't like them, I got to beg to differ because, like "How Do You Know This Is Love." I mean, I don't know the names of a lot of those tunes, but as far as pop,
if you take him,
that was before
take him solo, and then take him with Van Halen, they're night and day. Well, I can't say night and day different, but there's a huge difference between. I think to me, there's a huge difference between the two.
You mean playing Sammy Hagar and then Van Hagar?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it just seems the Van Halen stuff is so tame compared to his other stuff.
And Foss, it was, in my opinion, it was 1984. Hillbilly, I'll pass it to you in a second. It was 1984 when that came out because that was the introduction of keyboards, of synth for Van Halen. And that carried over into Van Hagar. And so, though 1984 had an incredible run when it was released, that was like, to me, the last real Van Halen rock album. The others, you know, by the time it became Van Hagar, it was a much more kind of polished, more polite, you know, version of rock and roll that ended up being a pop music wonder. I mean, Van Halen had done great leading up to 1984, but not nearly what happened globally for Van Hagar. So, I mean, I give respect.
Well, MTV happened in the middle of all that too. Like they were standing there when MTV happened, so they capitalized on that. You know, they didn't let that hang.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't never want to misquote somebody, but an interview deal I seen with Sammy on that whole deal was they asked him to come in because they lost David Lee Roth, and he thought, according to him, like he thought they were going to come in and just rock out the place, but Eddie was still in charge and this and that, and according to him, Eddie was coked up so much they couldn't do practices, and like he was no shows all the time, and he just, after they cut that one album, he's like, it was pretty clear this just wasn't going to work, but that's from his point of view, from what he said.
Well, I've heard that same kind of vibe, Hillbilly. So I can't substantiate it completely, but yeah, that's what was going on. And one of the differences there is that Sammy Hagar, he's a rock star, but he's also a businessman. Yeah. And for most intents and purposes, the remaining members of Van Hagar, the Van Halen boys, not that same degree of responsibility, not that same degree of professionalism even. And so, yeah, I know that I have heard that Sammy was bristling against a lot of those things. And it would be interesting to know, had that not been, an addiction period for both Van Halen brothers and, extreme alcoholism by the bass player. It's like everybody was doing something except Sammy. So kind of no wonder it ended up being that way. It was, 3-1 for rock and roll lifestyle.
How often are a band made, or is a band, or was bands made up of more than one ambitious person, or maybe even a manager that was the ambitious person, right? Like you got your talent and you got your people that are probably friends of theirs from the beginning or something, so they're just going to be in the band anyway, even if they're good or bad. But you know what I mean? Like it's not usually like the Partridge Family where everybody's on board with the success of the project or whatever,
Well,
Mm-hmm.
when I like to talk about ambition, I like to throw it back to AC/DC, the brothers, man. I mean, I don't know if people realize, but the reason one of them was wearing a schoolboy outfit was because that is what he showed up in for practice to start out with, if I'm understanding everything correctly. And
I just figured it's because they're trying to shove Europe in our face all the time.
It's Australia, G. They're from Australia.
AC/DC was Australia? Well, Australia's
Yeah, they
Europe.
are.
Same freaking thing.
No, it's okay. I mean,
It's
formerly,
Europe.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Formerly.
They align with Europe. They don't align with us. Well, maybe now they align with us a little bit, but back then they didn't. But anyway, I
they're
had no idea. If you would have gave me $100 to tell you where AC/DC was from, I would have said England. I had no idea.
Well, and our country didn't really know AC/DC on their first tour. On the second one, it started to pick up. Now, of course, when Bon Scott dies, that's a different thing because the Brian Johnson era, starting in 1980 with Back in Black, whoa, look out, global phenomenon. But G-Webs, you were referring earlier to how often is it that you have a band with more than one ambitious person, and you brought in also the idea of a manager. We're talking about Kiss. They are the perfect example of that. The high motivation of Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, hell yeah. The other two members, Ace and Peter, everybody kind of knows how that went. Their addiction problems and everything else. That unit continues to outsell so many other younger bands, like contemporary bands. And though they are on what is their self-proclaimed, they've done it 3 or 4 times, last tour ever sort of deal. G-Webs, the business model that Gene Simmons used for a lot of that stuff in tandem with Bill Aucoin, he was their manager. It is what it is today, which is the most successfully marketed music group of all damn time. And that's not my opinion. Licensing was the biggest thing to break that open. They didn't have a lot of merch before they started to sell. And what was interesting, I guess historically, was their fan base went from rock folks to younger people. I was one of those younger people. I was attracted to that. Go ahead.
The lunchbox and toys and
Mm-hmm.
was it like a Kiss? I think I might have had a Kiss big wheel, or at least somebody in the neighborhood had one. I think I remember riding a Kiss big wheel.
Wow. See, like anything that they could put that logo on. They licensed out so many things. Those Mego dolls, like everybody. I remember the year that the full size Kiss dolls came out, and everybody
Barbie
wanted
dolls.
one.
Essentially, they're the size of Barbie.
Yeah, they were.
Dolls, so we still had them because they had Kiss shit on. Yeah, they were Kiss dolls.
Yeah, it was.
I've seen a thing that those big wheels cost like $8 to make. So I've seen like the Toys That Made America show. So probably wasn't hard to mock those things up into whatever branded thing back in the day.
Can I shift gears and go a little bit of a different direction? We're talking about a businessman and a musician, and call out Jimmy Buffett. He didn't need the labels.
I heard a Buffett song just tonight on the radio coming back from the club. Yeah, that's a great example. Sorry, G.
He ended up owning bars and shit, like right in multiple places.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the Cheeseburger Paradise thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. Like he's a great example, Hillbilly. Like the way he merchandised himself, and the performances they would do, even up towards the end with failing health, he would show up to the club. Grab the guitar was always there, sit on a stool, play 2 or 3 songs, maybe more, and just be part of the crowd, sort of deal. He was so approachable, and It's mellow, man. That's middle-aged music for sure. But it's also party music. And being in Florida most of the damn time, holy hell, that's a great combination.
Yeah. Well, he even like he has his own like retirement resorts, and basically they're condo type deals or whatever. People buy them, they retire there. I mean, he really managed his money and his business very well.
And what that's going to do is provide a long-lasting legacy, fandom, and though some of those businesses may not be maintained in the future, sort of thing, and disappear. Yeah, with the fortune that guy amassed as well, when it comes to like who makes money in rock and roll and the long addition that you can do with his career, it's freaking huge and underrated, and also not known as much. Kind of thing.
I believe he only had one song to hit the top 100. If I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. And if you ever been to any of his concerts, they're packed houses. They're like, the parking lot party starts hours and hours, before the concert, if not the day before. And people that call themselves Parrotheads, they're true blue. I mean, they really are. And they're of all ages, from little kids to old people.
Yeah. Margaritaville was a number one. It charted at number one. It would have been Billboard back then. So, yeah. And like so many people know that song. If you just sing a little bit of it, you'll get somebody to respond almost everywhere you are.
There's only probably 3 songs I could name. Well, 2 songs I can name. There's a third song I know, but I can never remember the name of it because I never knew he did it. But, Cheeseburger in Paradise, which I think is a crappy song. Margaritaville. I'm not a Buffett fan. I don't like his voice. And whatever that other song is that I
something about
never
a parrot eating a carrot.
It's called Let's Get Drunk and Screw.
Or It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I'd have to hear it and then remember that I didn't know that it was him.
Well, if you read his books, he also was an author. Pirate Looks at 40, he has a Pirate Looks at 50. Great writer. He tells in there, he claims himself as not being a singer. He was just a poet, a songwriter, but nobody would sing his stuff. And so the only way he get his songs out there was sing them himself. And
Come Monday, that's the song.
Yeah, Come Monday. I think, that was, I think that stayed in the top 100 the longest or something or whatever. I can't remember, but yeah, he only had 1 or 2 that hit the top 100 and the top 100.
Are you putting up blinds, G-Webs?
No, I was just wondering, is this the bracket that you were looking for?
Oh, no, not quite.
Yeah, Ozzy said he's read 3 of his books. Yeah, if you're a reader, his books, it don't matter if you're a fan or not. His books are very good.
Ozzy said it was the best concert he's seen was Buffett.
Yeah, it's right there with Sammy Hagar for me.
I'll say Def Leppard at the Gorge. It's probably the best concert I went to.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
It's going to go back and where was it? I always forget. I can star these comments so I can find them later. And I always end up trying to find, I think, is it Guns N' Waters or Garage Guy had mentioned Cat Scratch Fever. There we go. Garage Guy said Ted Nugent, Cat Scratch Fever era. Stranglehold is a much better song. That's all.
Now, I'm not going to go with that one better than the other kind of thing. Both of them are incredible songs. Stranglehold's an anthem. I mean, that thing clocks in at sub 9 minutes, I think. It's like maybe 7 or so. It's a great tune. It really is. The breakdown that comes about midway through, the come on, come on, come on, come on up. That's always great. Most people don't know that that's not Ted Nugent singing that. Nugent didn't do all the vocals on some of those early albums. It was the other guy who played guitar. But I've seen Ted 3 times, I believe. And you want to talk about some theatrical cool stuff? Like he's got a bow. He's like shooting at at a target, and there's like pyro involved in that.
Flaming arrow. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it was fun. It was fun, and I'm not really into like how abrasive and acidic he can be. His personality can be, but I still enjoy listening to him. Not just the music, but also the way he presents himself. He's just not my style, kind of thing. But man, does he cut stuff down to the quick? He's like really no nonsense in the way he addresses things.
From what I hear, the people that he'll walk through a crowd and his people will shove people out of the way.
It was 2000. It was 2009, and it was the NRA show in Phoenix, and a little baby G Webs was minding his business, standing around the exit of the NRA show, and this mob of bullies came smashing people out of the way, knocking everybody down, and so His Majesty could walk out the door without having to touch nothing. So I only know that I got steamrolled by that guy, and I was an innocent victim of that guy and his mob of brutes.
They were rushing for the antidote. He clearly had cat scratch fever. Come on.
But seriously, that guy I've been to a lot of shows and stuff, and that guy is like, I can't be bothered. I can't be touched. I'm not going to open a door. He's got like 8 bodyguards that like push everybody out of the way so he can. I'm still traumatized by it. So I don't like the guy. I never liked his music or nothing, but he seems like at an NRA show. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like all the places you're going to be weird, it can be weird at an NRA show.
I get you. That the Amboy Dukes is like mid 60s. That's the first band that he was in, aside from like many college or high school bands or whatever. I don't know his exact history, but the Amboy Dukes kind of labored in obscurity, and then when he jumped from there into his solo career, that was huge. But clock the number of years, G, from from the mid 60s till whenever your experience was, people have been trying to touch him. Like,
yeah, I know. 2009 or something. Yeah, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah, so like he's 40 or whatever, 40, barbecue can do the math for us, right? 40 or whatever years of people trying to be near him, trying to touch him, kind of thing. And I've been around enough people in music. That's not cool. They don't necessarily like that. There are those who really embrace their fans.
Don't have their own thugs all the time either. They probably
security, yeah,
given a group of like 12 thugs, and if they're like over ambitious or something, or maybe they were, I don't know, like who knows? Maybe he had to go to, like you say, go to the bathroom really bad, and they were just like, let's get out of here.
Almost all of my experience would be at a venue, and the security at a venue is different. And private security, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who had an entourage of dudes with dark glasses or something like that. But when they're out in the public and making those kind of appearances,
what's the name of Trump's kid? I seen Trump's kid kind of accidentally at SHOT Show one year, and he had as many people as that guy.
Yeah. So out in the public, you might imagine that if they have a buffer of some sort, that's great. If they have an attitude behind that buffer, yeah, that's lame, and maybe his number.
That I have no desire to ever be famous because of the stories that I've heard about stuff like that, where everybody wants something from you. The like actors where they go into a stall to go to the bathroom, and people are sliding pieces of paper under the door to get an autograph.
Say what you said in that movie to me. And now with phones and stuff, it's like, here, I'm going to do a selfie. Say what you said in the movie.
And that stuff where I've read people talk about, I ran into, this actor, or this famous person, and they were rude to me. It's like, well, they're just trying to live their life, and you're coming up and bugging them for something. They don't owe you anything.
No doubt. And at the end of the day, they are just people. I'm sorry, G, go ahead.
like whatever you work at, like some Tuesday at work you did something cool and everybody's like, remember that one Tuesday at work how you filled that report out or you cut that piece of pizza or like whatever it is you do, like, you know, like that one time you did an excellent job at it. Like you're gonna get sick of being told about that one thing you did ever, I imagine.
Well, and I think more so in music than in movies, and I may be wrong about this, but how rabid fans will become. The strong, I have rabid fascinations with a couple of bands. I mean, fan stands for fanatic, and when you run into a bunch of people, they know, you know, they know more sometimes about a performer and where they were, what they were doing, or whatever, because they're into the minutia. Well, while somebody is just playing guitar or singing or living their life kind of thing, those details go past them. They don't remember every damn thing like fans will sometimes. And that can be, dude, that is create. I've seen some really weird moments of that happening where people are just, you know, shaking because they're near their idols, sort of thing. And I
remember on the third set of the show at whatever, and why did you play this instead of that? And they're like, because I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And something that people don't really understand, if you've been around like musicians that's been popular and actors and stuff, they are surrounded by people that want something from them constantly. Can you imagine living your life of everybody around you is wanting something? You know, it's got to be a rough life to live, really.
Mm-hmm. And the degree that you have to create privacy, whereas, you know, I'm an average citizen. I can have all kinds of privacy. Ain't nobody clamoring to, you know, give an autograph for me or have me, you know, take a picture or some damn thing. And so they can't just live in obscurity, you know. And I don't mind talking about Kiss so much, but somebody slapped me upside the head if it is, you know, the makeup thing and them not. It was part of, you know, the phenomenon they were trying to create, but the fact that you didn't know what they looked like behind the makeup. And then they finally did the reveal, and oh my God, they're all ugly dudes kind of thing. So the joke was that they should have kept the makeup on. Go ahead, G.
Well, plus you know, some diehard fans might remember who they are, but most people aren't gonna put two and two together. They could be standing next to one of them without their cape on, and it's an ideal situation.
I've been witness to that as well. And, you know, tons of artists, you know, like with tons of bands, after, unless the guitar player is like a standout, you know, kind of thing, it almost always focuses on a lead singer. Well, sometimes there'll be like G is saying, there'll be the bass player or the drummer. Nobody even recognizes them. You know, one of my favorite bands was Fish, and the bass player for that band used to be in a golf cart, and he'd run around the parking lots. You know, like talking to people, you know, he was recognized, sort of thing. But it was pretty rare in my experience to have artists that would like pursue lots of contact comparatively to other bands. It's just a lot rarer, and no wonder.
I want to throw a band out there. It's, you know, I'd say fairly new in the last 10 years that a lot of people don't know about, and I suggest you check them out if you've not heard of them. Especially because we're talking about Kiss and the makeup and this and that, artists not wanting to be known. Check out Here Comes the Mummies. I think you would like them if anybody's not heard of them.
Yeah, they're a funk band. Yeah, I haven't ever seen them, but I've listened to them before. Yeah, dude, I'll double back and do some more. You say it's worthy. Yeah. I'll take that advice. Right on.
It is. So I'll tell you the front story about this. There is basically around like 20-ish people that's in the band, but they all don't show up at the same time. And it's never, their names are unknown and all this. So as the story goes, they are recorded label, like they're signed to contracts or, something or another. But they just love to play music, right? So this is their way of wrapping herself up as a mummy, getting to go out and perform without any of the hassle of like what we're talking about. I think that's pretty cool.
It is. There's another band that I like. They're they're kind of obscure though. The name of the band is The Residents, and they wear these big eyeball contraptions on their heads. They have never publicly revealed, at least intentionally, their appearance. And so they still are, their identity is like relative, is basically unknown. And it's also one of those things, like referring back to the Kiss thing, is people have tried to pursue them, and it's just like never really worked because they also blend in almost immediately. And yeah, that anonymity thing, I haven't had a conversation about this particular subject before. This is interesting and engaging.
Eric M509 said best concert ever for him was Van Halen at Mountain View Arena in California. Sammy Hagar was great singing and playing guitar at it. Was for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge Tour. And Guns and Water saw Johnny Cash at the Pat Garrett Amphitheater.
Oh, wow. Never
Certain
saw him. Hillbilly, did you ever get to see Man in Black?
Yeah, I got to see him at the Grand Ole Opry backstage. Yeah, and actually at our amphitheater down here in our area.
Yeah. Oh man. If not now, I want to hear about those experiences, man.
Well, so we're talking about Johnny Cash, right?
Yes.
I have like his signature from when we did work on his house. He lived here for a while. And so I have basically a bill of work that we did for him with his signature on there. I got to talk to him many, many times. Great guy. Just, I mean, if you didn't know he was who he is, I mean, you would have never known it. Like, just really good, down to earth person. Never brought up anything about who he was or anything. Literally had no security around him at the time. This is in his older years, but yeah, he literally owned a house. Probably as the eagle flies, because nothing's straight around here. It's all curvy and hills, but probably 6 miles from my house, 7, 8, maybe at the most, on the lake.
Wow. I don't remember, but my impression was he a tall man? Like a big dude?
He was probably a little over 6 foot. I don't know, 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". I mean, like he was more or less normal height. If anything, barely above normal, or average, I say.
To have been able to hear that man's baritone voice, just speaking voice, because I've seen like interviews and a couple of specials where they like followed him around at his ranch in the 70s or whatever. I think it was maybe 60 Minutes. And yeah, what a great voice. What a wonderful career. And fellas, he died in 2003. This year was the 20th anniversary of his death, and it does not seem like that long ago.
No.
It really doesn't. At least to me, it doesn't.
Yeah. Late 90s is when I met him.
Guns and Water said tall to him is 5'10". I think average male height is only like 5'8".
I think so.
Is it? Okay, yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably right. I mean, I'm definitely not tall by any means, but I'm not short. He was a little taller than me. I mean, and he was not wearing all black. Every time I saw him.
Right on, man. Right on.
Kind of go back to AC/DC for a minute. The first AC/DC song I heard was probably Big Balls, because we were over at our friend's house, and he go, "Oh, I got the song. It's, and we all had a good laugh at Big Balls, and that album. I just lost the name of that album.
Dirty Deeds. It was the Dirty Deeds album.
Yeah, Dirty
Mhm.
Deeds was the first AC/DC album that I heard.
Me too.
That was back. That was probably when it came out. So I remember my friend's brother had the Beatles on reel to reel. Played that for us, and that
Yeah,
was a long,
I'm sorry.
I was just saying that's a long time ago.
Do you remember Dr. Demento? Did you ever listen to Dr. Demento?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would play stuff like Balls, that song that would have come up on Dr. Demento probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the one
you
that
can listen
stands
to
out for
that.
me was
Go ahead.
Fish Heads.
Fish.
Like, that's
I was
one
just
that
going to
really
say
hits.
Fish Heads. That was the guy who played on Lost in Space. He was
Yeah.
the second in command. That's who did Fish Heads.
Oh, I thought it was the kid. It was the second in command?
Yeah,
I didn't
no, it
know
wasn't
that.
Bill Mooney.
Okay. Yeah, that was his whatever song.
Yeah, novelty tunes like that were, if it wasn't for the Dr. Demento show, almost all of those they were kind of singles. Most of them, those were not album artists, and they certainly were regional, if not less than that kind of thing. And so that was a great national program. And I think that I'm pretty sure Barbecue is a fan, that Weird Al Yankovic wouldn't have had a career nearly as successful if it wasn't for shows like Dr. Demento. Because,
No.
there's obscure, go ahead.
I mean, there was always novelty and stuff, but Weird Al happened right with you. What do you call it? Not YouTube, but MTV. So he made his parody videos were the right place at the right time. But if it wasn't him, somebody else would have done it. There's always been parody and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so somebody else would have done it if he didn't.
Right. I mean, and I have appreciation too. I think that the groundwork certainly was laid by a lot of that. And yeah, Weird Al, hooking up like that's what, 82 kind of thing. I think might have been when his first stuff dropped. I remember that was hilarious. And the popularity, no doubt, was able to extend even to a younger listening audience because he was just goofy and you had the presence of the videos. So yeah, the Michael Jackson parodies were pretty good.
Larry said, "Who Made Who" was first. He heard for AC/DC, but gravitated to Back in Black.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Both sides. That's an incredible. Back in Black is an incredible album. There was no better statement of what 1980 would be in rock and roll than that album. 1980, bam, here we are. It's not the 70s anymore, brother. And everybody was moving towards, a different, well, I mean, not a completely different style or anything, but the influence of, I'm just about to go off. I'll pass it back to you guys.
Man, I got to shout out Guns and Water out there with the Dr. Hook. I mean, that I grew up on that, my parents, and I actually got to see them in concert twice. And man, they put on a great concert.
Damn, son.
I think we had all their records.
I mean, I think everybody knows the song cover of the Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have any of you ever watched what was the official video for that song? If you haven't, it's a treat. Go dig it out on YouTube just for the outfits alone. It's a good one. Nothing says 70s like Dr. Hook, man.
Yeah. And their guy that sings low voice, if you ever you see the video or in person, that dude, I don't know how tall he was, but he was a tall feller. I mean, and had a super low voice.
I think maybe the tallest musician, like rock musician I've ever met, bass player for Nirvana, Chris Novoselic. That dude, I don't know how tall he was, but he was more than a foot. He was like a foot taller than I was. He's a big dude. and I saw them. It was pre. It was in support of their first album that was on Sub Pop Records. It was before Nevermind came out, and the club that they played in here was like a capacity 60 bar, and they were on this stage was like one of those where it's just a little riser. So they were playing 6 inches up off the floor, and the tables were less than like 2 feet from the stage. Just enough room for us to squeeze the people to stand up and squeeze in front of those tables. That was a trip. That was a great venue. Great venue.
Talking about a big old feller, switched over to the countryside. Toby Keith was a good sized feller too.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. Just not as much, super, super tall, but just full size and not fat.
I haven't been to any country concerts. I'm not a huge country fan.
Yeah, it's not my genre either, but I definitely have an appreciation for certain eras and artists. Like I will always love the High Lonesome Sound. I love that era of country music. I'm not a fan of every artist sort of thing. And then the outlaw country, hell yeah. Like all of that stuff that was going on and those artists in particular. So, but pop country these days, and barbecue probably testify, as soon as you put drum machines in, country kind of turns a little bit south. And there's a lot to dig out in the country music genre, though. I think people shit on it too much. And its popularity, there's another thing. Longevity of that genre, it's pretty much stayed, not stock still the same, but plus minus, it's been country for almost a century now. Like for a popular music form to last that long, I mean, people were forecasting that rock and roll wasn't going to last that long, and I hope that it has as long and healthy a life as country music has. But country music was there first.
Well, we all know that Foss is a Swiftie behind the scenes.
But I like, the stuff I do like is kind of the older stuff. Act Naturally, Tiger by the Tail, kind of stuff. I think it wasn't Buck Owens.
It was.
What? No. I'm trying to think of something else. Can't think of his name, but it was a country artist that how I learned to play guitar was his How to Learn the Guitar, where it showed the chords and then you had stickers you put on the frets, and I just threw away the stickers and learned the chords. Chet Atkins.
Oh,
I think it was Chet.
Wow.
Chet Atkins. I think it was his book. That's how I learned to play guitar.
I tell you, I got
That's a great.
see a treat one time, and that was Roy Clark pick on the guitar.
Oh no, it
Woo-ha.
was Roy Clark. Roy Clark. That's what it was. Not
Very
Chet Atkins.
great, very, very good guitar picker.
Yeah, every stringed instrument, hillbilly. I mean, him with a 4 or 5 string banjo, same damn thing. As a matter of fact, I've seen a performance that he did. I think I sent it to Barbecue, where he rotates between 3 instruments: guitar, banjo, violin, or you might want to call it fiddle. Right? He does it. He like runs through. It's contiguous transfers over, and I don't know how many beats per minute is, but it's wicked fast. And that guy's fingers, there are pickers out there. What?
He has sausage fingers.
Yeah.
That's one of the amazing things was, he's got these chunky fingers and hands and an incredible guitar player.
Mm-hmm. And he goofed with self-deprecating humor even pre-hee-haw because of his size, kind of thing. And I relate to that. I've been a fat dude almost all my life. I was a fat dude almost all my life. So I tended to pay a little bit more attention to those who were, like struggling under the same yoke of not being, quite as popular or fashionable. Go ahead.
But yeah, he had a theater here in Branson, and he just seemed to be like just a good guy. And man, he could pick that guitar or fiddle, whatever. I mean, man, it was amazing.
Indeed. And Foss mentioned Tiger by the Tail. Well, that's Bakersfield. And the Bakersfield Picken is my favorite of the Picken regions. Chicken Picken is born there. It's just absolute. Bakersfield produced so much great stuff, and it wasn't, a lot of it was focused on just him. He was the most popular artist, but they still have a vibrant scene. They still are, people refer to them a little bit less than, but usually in the same breath as the Austin music scene, which is one of the greatest music cities in the country. Forget about their politics, y'all. It's about the music.
I about a week ago or so, I sent you, DJ, on Instagram, the Dolly Parton cover of "What's Going On" by Four Non Blondes. And
Oh, really?
her version I liked a lot better than the Four Non Blondes.
She has the ability to sing stuff.
No doubt. A couple nights ago, was it Thursday night? I can't remember which night it was. Saw a cover band, and they did that. So it's still making it out. Songs and that artists are still making it out there. But that Four Non Blondes version, I don't even know. I guess I will check that out. And I'm sorry that I haven't before listened to the full thing because I hate that song.
There's
I can't stand it.
I seen a thing
cover.
where it was Dolly Parton singing Jolene, I think, and it's like, here's her singing it in 1960, here's her singing it in 1980, here's her singing it in maybe like 2000, and then here's her singing it today. And she's good at singing, but it's different. Like her voice was different, and it's interesting because you listen to that first one and it's like, wow, that's good, and then you listen to the second one, it's like, holy shit. And then the third one is like, okay. And then the last one was like kind of like the first one. But anyway, it's just interesting. I don't know if you've ever heard, seen anybody do clips like that where they compare, because I'm sure other artists, same way, they mature and they get, accustomed to it, or whatever the words are. Like, they get good at it, and they get kind of routine or whatever. And then but they can just add nuance to it that, how many times is she saying Jolene,
Yeah. Well, since the mid 70s, I think. And Hillbilly, there's a touch of Missouri when we're talking about Dolly Parton, not she herself, but Porter Wagner. She teamed up with Porter Wagner early on. That was like her earliest, part of her career. And it was around that. It was in the 70s when they finally split. They were an incredible. They were such a dynamic force. They just went out and plowed so many gigs, just gig night after night after night. And that's, kind of what you needed to do anyway. But gee, I'm surprised that you dug out Jolene. That's awesome.
Dolly splitting from Porter Wagner was the reason she wrote "I Will Always Love You."
Ah, I didn't know that.
That was her goodbye song for him.
There was more about Dolly being in Missouri than what you know. That's me sitting on her lap.
Holy smoly.
Right. This is my two brothers and my sister.
Well, look at you.
Yeah. Yep. So she's in Missouri a lot more than you knew.
Right on, man. What are you, about 9-10 years old in that picture, mayes?
What are you drinking? A glass of scotch in that video?
Old enough, I got my hands covering something.
Looks like you're drinking a glass of scotch in this picture.
Do what?
You're drinking that glass of scotch.
Oh,
on the table. Yeah. There's a low ball.
Somebody else's.
Let me set this down and sit on Dolly Parton. Hold on.
Yeah, that's at my grandparents' house.
So that was a Hillbilly. Would you say that was a stimulating experience?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I don't quite remember it, but I mean, I met her many, many times. My uncle was a personal bodyguard and bus driver for her for many years throughout her singing career and her movie career. And he's actually in Still Magnolias as a B-roll or whatever you call those people in the
a bit part.
Yeah. Yeah, when they're having their carnival or their fair or whatever, he walks up and orders a hot dog and stuff, or corn dog. Like, I mean, he's got even speaking parts in it. But yeah, she visited here many, many times, and till the day my grandparents died, she sent them, Christmas cards and stuff every year. And she still sends like my uncle Christmas cards and stuff. Yeah. Very, very nice people, her and her husband, they are very nice. I'll have to go down and take some pictures because one of the tabloids had put in their magazine or whatever her and a picture of my uncle, and they were calling my uncle her husband because like that's how much these tabloids know, because they seen him with her so much, they're like, oh yeah, it's her husband. But no.
Man, if that was me, I'd be ripping that page out, framing it up, and sticking it on the wall and say, looky here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can take pictures of this stuff, but yeah. She's a great person. I mean, all the way around. I mean, she really was. As far as, any of us, knowing her and stuff, and still is. And she wins the hearts of a lot of people because she won't talk politics or nothing like that, but she's just who she is. And she's very, very nice person, honestly. She really was.
Cool.
This is Dolly Parton's Doggy Parton dog T-shirt thing, where the money goes to.
Oh my God!
The money goes to.
What does it say?
This is they're saying about cost. Guns and Water was saying it takes a lot of money to look this cheap. So this is Dolly Parton made this organization so that it over here it tells you that it goes to all the profits from these T-shirts go to dog. What do you call it? Taking care of dogs. So that's her saying or whatever. One of her sayings, I guess. It costs a lot of money to look this cheap. This is a little pink shirt that I intended to put on this dude, but I figured I'd leave it and pass it along because he doesn't really need a pink shirt. But since they were talking about it, I figured I'd go grab one of her merchandising things.
Dolly Parton has a biscuit mix with Duncan Hines.
Oh yeah.
Check it out. Good marketing.
You know what you need to make for your dog right there? A shirt like that says "It's a pug's life."
Yeah.
Pugonomic.
It's a thug's life. It's a pug's life.
Have them all like mobbed out, like triple black outfit, big rope chains and stuff.
Got a Glock with a switch.
Ooh.
There's
rounding it out.
This is the other one. There's 4 of them all together, though.
Oh my goodness!
For voices kind of changing, the G-Web's kind of talking about Debbie Harry. As she got older, her voice got a little raspy, a little smokier. She did a spot on Mad TV. And she sang, and her voice sounded incredible with being that a little bit deeper, a little raspier. I really liked the way it sounded. For other concerts I saw Richie Sambora. That's the one I saw at the Paramount in Seattle. It was a good
Bon
concert.
Jovi guitarist.
Yeah,
like his solo work. What was that like? Sorry.
I couldn't tell you anything other than God, now I can't even think of the name of the song. The one song that I liked. Shit.
Is that the guy whose head's like surfing with the aliens or dancing with the
something? That's Joe Satriani.
Oh, okay.
No, it's the God damn, the
Sambora is from
Cowboy. Wanted, Dead or Alive.
Okay, yeah. The Bon Jovi tune.
Yeah.
Yep.
He played, I remember he played that. It was really good. But it's a smaller theater, so it's a little more laid back. It was,
Did Did he play the? Did he play that song on acoustic or a combination, or do you remember?
I don't quite remember. I think acoustic.
Because yeah, it has on the recording. The release of that is that like that descending
Yeah.
line that he does on acoustic. Like that is cool. I mean, I hate Bon Jovi. I could sing all the lyrics to that song, but I would never admit it in other quarters, kind of thing. But yeah, that'd be cool. Like small theater shows are some of my favorite. The more intimate the venue is, I come away with usually better concert experiences. I mean, I've been like having the time of my life in Madison Square Garden, getting lost in the sea of humanity before. But I will always prefer a club show, regardless of the artist.
Can't remember any other concert. I think I've been to at least one more, and then there was like in high school, a bunch of Christian bands played, like the one dude and the other dude, and
The one dude and the other dude. See, I go Striper, Petra. Amy Grant doesn't count really as like
it wasn't
rock.
Amy Grant, but he sang a duet with Amy Grant.
Oh, I'm out. I wish I knew.
Really good voice. I mean, and Striper, I don't know. Striper, I liked Striper in high school, but they had basically 4 different beats. So all their songs sounded the same. And then when they went to Leather, because they got ridiculed for being in spandex, it was over for them.
That was an interesting force for a while, though. There's also an interesting time.
Andrew Carmichael says, nobody cares about your new album. Play the hits.
Yeah. Too true, man. That happens a lot.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was sitting around thinking that I would love to meet this one artist. I love the music. I think it was the first tape that I ever bought. And I was kind of, daydreaming about it. And it'd be great and exciting. And then I realized, why am I getting excited? It's a person. I love the music, but there's no reason to be this excited to meet somebody. And that was kind of a big change on how I viewed celebrities.
Who was that artist?
The one guy from the concert that was with the other guy.
Okay.
Can't think of his name. I think the album was Fire and Ice. It's a Christian artist.
I think going to small venues, you get to see that people are just regular people or whatever in bands and stuff. But I like going, like I'm in Arizona, near U of A, and there's a bunch of little bars back in the day. I don't know if there is now. I don't think there are anymore, but there might be something like that. But where I don't know, bands that got medium size, were tiny, and they'd come through and play like in a room in a bar. You know what I mean? Like bars that were, I guess I should set stage, bars that were houses that were just, they ripped all the rooms out, left the bathroom and left maybe the kitchen, and then now it's a bar. So it's not very big, 1,000 square foot maybe or something less. So, stage takes up a chunk of that, and then how many people can even fit in there? And those you see everything that happens with the, setting up and everything. Like none of that happens behind a curtain or anything. I think that's when I figured out like bands are just bigger versions of that.
Yeah. Steve Camp is who it was.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know the name, but I'm not familiar with the work. Yeah, the first time I did a load in to a place that you're talking about, G-Webs, I was like 14. Like I had a lot of great experiences starting early with performances and musicians and the venues that I got to go inside that I couldn't, legally, I wasn't walking in the front door. It was, there were bars. most of them, or clubs kind of thing. But we also did a lot of shows, especially in the early punk rock era here. We were a small crew. There wasn't a hell of a lot of us. And so the venues that we used were, and I still love to see bands do this kind of thing, at a social hall, at a bingo hall, at a library. Like there are all these alternative venues that folks can play at. And, the Sons of Italy Hall now hosting. And to see bands in something other than the typical settings is also a treat. There's a local place, really small. I don't think they can even ram about 40 of us in the performance area. It's an art gallery and tattoo shop, and they have bands that will come through. National. Not anybody that we kind of know as popular national acts, but dude, you're like 3 feet away, and you're just watching it all go on, and that is sometimes a transforming experience.
Yeah, our first band was actually a Christian rock band. The name of the band is called Rescue. And my brother still carries that name in his band. He's kind of went more kind of country and stuff, but I ain't played in years. Yeah, you're exactly right. Those small venues are just really awesome. We was sitting on the beach in Tampa, Florida, I'm pretty sure. And it's one of these bars, like kind of like grass hut type bars, you know what I mean, on the beach. And they were starting a band, and Up was fixing to start, and they played a couple songs, and it was about, I don't know, 6:30 in the afternoon. And anyway, the lead singer, he goes, "Hey," he said, "we're going to bring all those people out on the beach in here with one song." And they played Pink Houses. And sure as shit, it worked.
Oh, yeah.
And now this is in early 2001. But yeah, like people heard that music and got up off the beach, come walking in to jam to that song. And they just kept it rolling. I mean, not just with John Cougar, but, they just went straight into, some other classic 80s stuff. And like it really drew people in.
Live music, music is infectious. It's one of those things that communicates across all cultures, all time. Permeates our lives. And I really love these kinds of conversations.
Well,
you might guess that
music is a part of the human experience. Every
Nice.
culture, like you said, every culture, every time they have music. Some eventually ban them, like in Kansas, parts of Kansas. But there basically is no civilization that didn't have some sort of music. It's just a part of us.
Did the Borg have music?
I was digital.
Unintentionally because of all the mechanical noises. So that would have been under the genre industrial, for sure.
Yeah, probably like, one of the Borg robots would be like, "Hey, if we go over to this part of the ship where, the pulsar vibration things like have a tone or something," yeah, right? They'd know where things make noise in a certain way, harmonious ways.
And they'd be able to distinguish far more frequencies than we're used to as human beings. They're enhanced.
Oh, snap. What would dolphin
Lots
music
of
be like?
probably lots of Daft Punk. That's what the Borg
Nice. I'll go with that. The UK big beat from the 80s and 90s would also maybe be popular in that direction, for sure. Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go check my cholesterol after get through watching T-Webs eat this bacon and cheese teeter tots.
I'm like, dude, please, I'm hungry. This is after bar. It's 3:30 in the morning. I had toast all day long. And he's like, oh, man.
So here's one that you might like, Hillbilly.
Yeah.
Got to meet Tracy Lawrence the one time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, let's say he was pretty cool. I had actually, it was a year prior, for the annual FOP concert. They had, it was supposed to be Easton Corbin and Justin Moore coming, and there's another guy named Larry Frick. He I guess would go to a lot of the festivals and stuff. And he built up a name for himself, and he could really work a show, but just nothing real big national or anything like that for himself. So he was going to open for the two of them, and then when I call in to order tickets, the lady that answered the phone, she's like, "Hey, you want a job?" I was like, "Huh?" She's like, I need somebody to sell tickets next year." I was like, sure, because I was young and dumb. If I wasn't sleeping, I wanted to make money. So, sure enough, next season rolls around. She calls me up. She's like, "Hey, you still interested in selling tickets?" I was like, "Yeah." Little did I know that selling tickets meant calling cold sheets. So that show ended up being Tracy Lawrence and, man, who opened? I don't remember who the heck the open was, but since I ended up being one of the people calling cold sheets, all that fun jazz, everybody that worked on that, which there's only 4 of us sitting in this little tiny office room, we all got to go down before the show and meet everybody, and it was pretty cool. Tracy Lawrence, awesome dude.
So is that like
What-
calling like radio stations and shit, or is that calling regular people?
That's like
People.
they literally had just sheets of paper printed off with a bunch of phone numbers and names, and you just dial the number. "Hey, how you doing? We got a show coming for the FOP, and whatever the hell time it was. I think it was March or something."
This way
And-
before the internet, then this is just the way that they told
Well,
people.
Yep.
Yeah, and barbecue. I got a couple of real quick. So FOP, Fraternal Order of Police.
Yeah,
Okay, and about what year?
that would have been, I think, 2009,
Oh.
2010.
Okay, that's
Well, that's
15
not
years
before
out from my experience. But dude, I did almost the same exact thing. Fraternal Order of Police. It was a country artist that I don't remember, but this was like in 93, 94 kind of thing, and doing those cold call sheets. Yeah, from a wide format dot matrix printer. They had the strips on the side with the holes in them because that's the way it ran. Oh my god. Oh my god, that job sucked, dude. I did it for like 2 days.
Well,
So I did it for like 2 months.
Wow,
I would,
that's dedication, man.
think that-
Telemarketing is.
and you never know when you go watch a band, the pre-show, who's opening, how it's going to turn out. Because I want to say it's in the 90s. We went to Arkansas, to Fayetteville, to watch Randy Travis, right? And
Nice.
so we didn't know who the name of the person that opened. Like, it wasn't really a ticket name or nothing. But we got there, and the guy that opened for him was Alan Jackson, and
Ooh.
put
Oh, snap.
on a concert that just overshadowed Randy Travis like you wouldn't believe.
So was this pre or post Chattahoochee?
Way pre.
Yeah, way pre. Damn, bro.
He had one album out, and like nobody heard of him.
Yeah.
Well, heck, the way
know,
Alan
kinda-
Jackson was even found, what was it? Star Search, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
He was a janitor at the studio, and they just came up to him and was like, "Hey, sing us out." And he did the sing out, and there was a record exec that saw him and was like, "Get him." And that's how he got found. He
Man,
was
that
doing the rounds, playing the bars, doing it the way he was supposed to in Nashville, and he just happened to be at the right place at the right time, working, mopping up the studio, and he was taking a break and was sitting down and got to do the thing out, and the rest is history.
I don't know if you know.
can actually find video clips on YouTube of that.
Rock. I am reminded of a song by Junior Brown, Joe the Singing Janitor. Like, I don't know that it'd be like this, telling that story necessarily, but yeah. And if you haven't checked out Junior Brown, he plays a git steel of his own design. It's a combination. He slapped together a lap steel and a Telecaster, and he plays it standing up, and it's crazy cool. And for almost, well, up until the last maybe 5-6 years, his wife was the other member of his band, kind of thing. He'd go out and do just the two of them, and they were in a van a couple of times that I saw him here local. Cruise in, do the show, and I love his style.
And I can get behind them.
Yeah.
Let me do this one. HereWebsites.com for 2A stickers, patches, books, logo design, web design, 3D printing, technology consulting, and so much more. HereWebsites.com. Oh, barbecue, my friend.
Yes,
Is there
my friend.
anything you'd like to plug?
No, I got nothing. I just like how you're like, we're gonna hit this and then we're out of here. You're like, too much country music talk. We're like, we're done. I like it. But no, thank you for putting the invite out there as always. I hope to try and get back to these more regularly. Just life's been busy. Wrestling season is in full swing. I am the number 2 coach for novice. I don't know how the heck I manage that, seeing as I don't have a wrestling novice. Other than the fact that I'm just nice and help where I'm needed. So the wrestling season is going to have me pretty tired this year. So like I said, going to try and make it in more often. But thank you for the link as always.
Oh, thank you for showing up. And DJ, before you give your plug, which will probably lead into your plug, the holiday season is usually a tough time for a lot of people. So there are people you can talk to if you need to talk to people. So DJ, can you plug?
Yeah, absolutely. On Saturday evenings on the A Great Start Shooting School channel, there's a discussion about mental health awareness and violence prevention. Brooke Cheney, every damn Saturday. There's an irony here that Hillbilly Up is on the panel because this evening's program was a pre-recorded interview with Hillbilly Up. I encourage everyone to check that out. I'll drop the link to her channel.
Oh, that wasn't live?
No.
I thought it was, pre-recorded.
We recorded it a week ago.
Yeah, it was a premiere, I think, or just regular. I don't know. Tomorrow as well, I'm going to drop the link out there in the text chat for a program on the Costly Conversations channel. Whether you know him as Aaron, Costly Conversations, or Armed Atlas, that guy is turning out some great interviews. It's a lighthearted kind of format. Sometimes the subjects do get very costly. I'd like to kindly ask that you give him some attention. There's a link out there for tomorrow's program that Foss, you might be interested in because it has something to do with martial arts. And I will go ahead and drop some links. Everybody, as Foss was saying, the holiday season can be really difficult for some people. I've spent more than a few Christmases by myself. If you have the opportunity in your day-to-day life, especially around times of year like this, when you see somebody who's not smiling, make one. It's really easy to do. You don't know if somebody else is walking in steps of desperation. And not everyone wears how they're doing on the inside, on the outside. Please give kind consideration to that. Be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and raw.
Hillbilly, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, buddy. First of all, I honestly, Guns and Barbecue, I really thought you was going to bring up Jeff Healy as your favorite guitar player earlier, but all jokes aside.
That's a good one.
Anyway, we have a great show coming up next Saturday on Guns, Beer, and Therapy. Not only are we going to have the guy himself of Brownworks on there, which if you've not heard of Brownworks, check it out. They make some awesome custom grips for pistols and ARs and stuff, but he's going to be doing a giveaway on there. So yeah, some lucky person's going to win a set of grips. And also, one reason to tune in, besides all that, is we raised some money on Christmas 740. The Scotsman had a lot to do with this, mainly his deal, just used Chris's show, and we raised money for a family in need for Christmas. And as we got to certain amounts, I had talked Scotsman into drinking a hard seltzer, and we hit that amount. And then other people jumped in and said, well, if we hit, well, it was $1,500. If we hit 2,000, Gary Gizzard is also, which we did hit those marks. Gary Gizzard is going to drink a hard seltzer. And I ended up, I'm going to have to drink a dang hard seltzer too. But also, Gene from Reloading on the Hot Pot, he's going to be drinking champagne out of his wife's shoe. So that is going to be a really fun show. A lot of good stuff. So try to make it if you can. It's next Saturday night, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern on Guns, Beer, and Therapy. And I really appreciate you, Foss, for having me on here. Always a great time. Just really love it, buddy. Thank you.
Well, thank you. G-Webs, anything you want to plug?
I think a good idea is to take some tater tots and to drench them in extra sharp cheddar cheese that's been shredded, and then some real bacon bits.
It's a plug that.
But thanks for hosting. Been a great year.
So I forgot to do the banner again, but if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talk about, agree with, disagree with. I always read the comments. They're always appreciated. For those that were out in the live chat chatting her up, thank you too. And if you were watching and didn't say anything, thank you. Don't be afraid to speak up. Let me know that you're out there. And I hope everyone has a good Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. If you don't celebrate anything, I hope you have a good day too. And
Festival.
other than Festivus, you can air your grievance while doing feats of strength. But hope everybody has a good rest of the evening and a good tomorrow, and go do something good. And we're
Are we?
Did
It
it
says
end?
live
We'll
on
show it live.
I hit end